We've done searches by title word, any word, record number. We filtered out certain types of records. We filtered out the inactive records and the destroyed records. But there's still a lot of other searches you can try. For example, if you wanted to, you could do a search for all records having documents with a certain extension. And I think in this case I can just type that in, like if I wanted to see all of the modern spreadsheets. XLXS is the format, the file extension. It will crunch on that, and I will see I have 1,951 spreadsheets with the XLSX extension. But there's a lot of other searches you can do. Let me just clear that out. And to use the technical term, there are buku searches you can perform. Let's just roll through those, and I'll touch on what you're likely to use and what you are not likely to use. One of the things you'll notice is, and let me back up again and do that selection here so you can see how I got to that other window. So I did a search, and I'm going to click the folder to show all of the search methods. And these are organized by category. You know, if you want to, you can do it by format, or you can do it alphabetical. Frankly, I find it easier to find things by category. Although sometimes these categories are a little bit hard to figure out. A couple of the two top items, favorites, just shows things that I have recently used, and those end up in my favorites. And the same thing with the recently used. In fact, I'm a little fuzzy at this point on how things end up in favorites, but I'm sure I'll figure that out as time goes on. But if you have used a search type recently, like extension, and you do it again months later, maybe you don't remember, it might be here in this list. But let's just go through them by type. There's class and record type. Class we don't use. Text can be any word, keyword, content, but the most likely searches are any word or title. Link to navigation, what you might look for there. And we'll talk a little bit about versions here a bit later. But maybe you want to find the latest version of a record. By trays, I don't see anything there I'm likely to search for. Reference and control numbers, record numbers where you would, or this category is where you would find the record number search. Document management, it has the one we were looking at, the extension, and I guess that's not in there because we just, oh no, here it is. Dates and time. You're most likely to use the date something was registered. This one here. The other ones don't specifically have any significance that I'm aware of. Additional fields. This is a great big long list. There's over 500 record types. So this is pulling from all of those record types. So that's a tough search unless you first narrow down your search by record type. Retention and disposal, most of us aren't going to use this. The records manager will. Contacts and people. Most likely if you're searching for something, it would be the creator. Business process, we don't use any business processes right now, so that's not a search you're likely to, category you're likely to use. Records management. Not really seeing anything there that's likely. Security or audit. I don't see anything there most of us would be likely to use. We don't use SharePoint, so that one's out. And under other, might look to see if a document is set as final, but that's not a search you're going to do too often. So I think that the main things you're probably going to find yourself doing again is going to be title word. It's going to be creator. It's going to be date registered. Then you're going to filter down to get rid of certain record types. But it doesn't hurt to play with these. There's some that I've never used. Try it. I mean, you can't hurt anything by trying something. You might learn something that helps you in your work.